Tell me when. Go. Okay, now look, and when he grabs that, his intent, as soon as that knife clears his body, and I'm going to show you firearms in a minute, what I'm doing with firearms, same thing, he is going to start cutting with me. He's not waiting, okay? He's not going to take the knife and thrust it out and then start stabbing me. He is going to start cutting as soon as it gets in front of him. Now, and we're going to break this down in a few minutes. The other hand is not just floundering, okay? The other hand is there to help him. They're going to work together, okay? And we're going to break it down so it's a little bit easier in a few seconds. So Eddie and I are in a confrontation. He goes to pull the knife. Go ahead. And I'm going to try to block it. No, move quick. Do it for real. Go ahead. I'm coming in. Move up. Stop. This is what he's going to do to me. Okay? Except he dropped the knife. Okay.
Don't drop the knife.
Don't drop the knife.
Let's redo that one.
Let's redo that one, okay? So this is what it's going to look like. Him and I are going to come in. He's going to come. I'm going to try to grab it. This is what he's going to do to me, okay? Now, do you think, because he's cutting me correctly, that I'm going to ever get that knife away? Is there anybody in this room that thinks that they could come up here and get that knife away from him without getting cut? You can't see it, but he must have hit me about 10 times. Does anybody want to try it and take the knife away from him? Okay? So that's the difference. Okay? It's not do the thrust. It's not to throw him. Okay? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay? Just like firearms. Give me an example. Herb, get up here. Now, last week I showed her when I teach defensive firearms. Now, the other thing you have to understand, your training has to be real. And I was discussing this. Can I say your name on the screen, on the video?
Sure.
No, you. I was telling Vince, when I teach firearms, once I know the person's well acclimated and I give him that foundation training, what I normally do, get him on the range, he fires half a clip, I tell him to put the weapon down, he puts the weapon down, and then I tell him to leave the range and have him go run around the parking lot 4 or 5 times. Then I have him come in and I have him do 5 push-ups. For Vince, probably 2, because that's all he can do. Okay, so, and while he's doing that, I take the clip out, and this is an airsoft, so no one panic. I take the magazine out, I rack it so there's not one in the pipe, and I put the weapon down with the magazine. And I say to him, I want you to now load it and shoot and hit the target. Why do I do that? Because the majority of us that are going to go pull in a firearm, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning, someone's in my house, you think your heartbeat's not going to be going boom, 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 boom. So I'm trying to make the training realistic. And it's amazing, and I've taught police officers, federal officers, people that have had minimal training, I've had 1/3 of them can't get the magazine in the weapon. The other 2/3 that can get the magazine in the weapon have a problem racking it, and when they go fire the round, it's like, shooting to North Jersey. Okay, and Mike, you've seen me do this on the range, okay? So, that's the kind of training you want to get. And eventually when we do the advanced knife fighting techniques, we're going to get to that level of intensity, okay? And what I was saying to her, what I teach with firearms is, and this is based upon Sensei's involvement, teaching me how to use the katana and other weapons. When I went to the police academy, this is what you normally are taught. Pull the weapon, stand in a Weaver stance or an isosceles stance, pull the weapon, bring it straight out and shoot, okay? The problem is when I do that, Herb can now grab the gun, okay? And I saw one instructor say, well, you want to bring it up here and bring the weapon out. He's off balance. They're just not thinking. So last week I was showing Herb, and what I did was I said, come on in, Herb. I kicked my leg back and I put this arm up, and he grabbed my arm, and I went bang, 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 okay? And I hit him 4 or 5 times before anything even happened. And I said to him, I use the front sight of the weapon only. I don't use both sights, okay? So that's the kind of realistic training you want to get. And afterwards he said to me, why'd you put your arm up? I said, what did you grab? He said, your arm. I said, well, it worked, didn't it? Okay? And I protected my weapon so he couldn't get to it, He grabbed my arm, and as soon as that weapon cleared, pop, 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 pop. And I would have hit him 4 or 5 times in the leg and in the hip, which is the biggest body part in the body, and probably would have knocked him to the ground. Okay? Mike, if you want to go sit.
Yes, sir.
You all right?
Okay.
I just get nervous. I see people standing around all the time. Okay, I'll get back.
Thank you.
Okay. So, your training has to be realistic, okay? And, come back in right already. So, this is what you're seeing, unfortunately, in a lot of schools. Now, Sensei told me not to mention the schools because he doesn't want to start, he doesn't have people banging down the door, okay? But, you have the knife on you? Okay. I'm going to be Uki for a second. And for those of you that don't know what Uki, everybody in here knows, Uki is the person that is having the technique performed on them, and he is usually the aggressor. Nagi is the person that's doing the technique, okay? This is what I saw in one of the bigger schools in New York, that this is how they were showing to take away the knife technique. I mean, we wear the knife, okay? So, he's the 5th Dan. And I'm the student. We're going to do the inside one, where you put the knife here. Remember the one where I come in like that, and you just guide it and put it in? Okay. This is what you see. Takes the knife out.
Can't think when you don't feed him.
I know, he didn't eat his donuts this morning. Guy goes like this, and of course, he doesn't react. He waits. He waits. He further waits. He waits. Then he thrusts. He takes the knife here, keeps it close to him, and he steps in and he does technique. And he throws me, okay? 2 problems with that. And you were laughing when I showed you. Ronnie, come up here, Ronnie.
Don't have running.
For those of you that don't know Ronnie, Ronnie is an ex-Army Ranger, and he's a world-ranked Muay Thai fighter. So come in here. Okay? So let me ask you a question, Ron. Let's forget about the knife for a second. Okay? If he steps in, okay, he steps in, and he doesn't take my center or go outside my shoulders with the technique, or if this is you, okay, are you just going to stand here and let him do the technique and throw me, or are you going to crush his face? Why don't you show me what you would do? Ronnie, these teeth are really expensive. I already have a broken nose, so don't broke it more. Turn. Okay. So you, remember, don't break my teeth. Okay. So forget the knife for a second. Okay. If I come in and you got control over here, what are you going to do with that arm? What are you going to do? Boom. Okay. Now, in most Aikido schools, has anybody, and I've trained in 3 schools, and I've gone to a number of seminars, and I've watched many videos, does anybody ever see a secondary attack in Aikido schools? Anybody ever seen it? You see the primary attack, okay, where I go in with the knife, and I'm not allowed to do anything, okay? But if Ronnie's got the knife, and he thrusts me, and I block him, and I step in all the Aikido schools, you're never going to see what he's about to do to my face. Boom, okay? Or he's going to hit me with a knee if he doesn't have arthritis, okay? You never see these secondary attacks. All you will see is the primary attack, and that's it. Why? Because it's very choreographed. It's very choreographed. And he has to fall because I throw him down. And it looks great and dandy. And it only works because Uki is following the choreographed movements. Okay? And it's a problem. Let me show you one other technique and we'll move on. This is another school. You can sit down. Thanks for not knocking out my soup. I appreciate it. Okay. This is one of those, and I'm not going to mention the type school, but this is one of those new modern combat schools. It's a new martial art. And I was watching a video, and the instructor showed how to take out a sentry. Johnny Daycare is not here. A sentry is a guard that's in a military installation, and I'm either trying to gain access quietly or get out quietly, okay? And this is what they show. Turn around. So Eddie's the guard. They show this. Comes up, he grabs him. No, he doesn't put his hand up. He reaches across his throat, he cuts his throat, and he knocks him to the ground. Okay? Now, Ronnie, you were in the Rangers. If you're standing as a sentry, and Mike, you were in the Marines, okay? Turn around. you think if you're a guard or sentry and I come across like this, yeah, what are you guys gonna do? You're gonna do anything? You're just gonna stand there and let me cut your throat, okay? So, and the reason I'm saying this is because these are the guys that are teaching students how to defend knives. They don't know how to even use a knife, so how are they gonna learn, how are they gonna teach people how to defend the knife? Because this is what's gonna happen. He yelled, okay? So he now alerted everybody that I'm here. He's fighting with this, and what's the chances here? You went even further. Let me go like this. Let me put my hand there. He's going to grab my arm, and now I'm going to take this hand, and what's the chances of me cutting his wrist or sticking it in my arm? What do you think's going to happen? Okay? Okay, this is probably what Eddie's really going to look like he's going to do. Don't break my arm. Okay, now we're going to fight for the knife. Okay?
What was his gun?
He pulls his gun. Spoken like a true Marine. And I want to thank Mike for coming out today to videotape this, okay? Now, this is the real dagger that people are going to use, okay? You're going to see this. This is a World War II knife. It is exceptionally sharp, okay? I'm going to hand it around. It is exceptionally balanced. You don't even know you have it in your hand. Okay, I'll give it to you guys to look at it later. You can feel it. It is really sharp. Okay, this is what I was taught how to take a sentry out. What's the primary weapon? The knife hand or this hand?
Knife hand.
Knife hand, right? I'm going to come up. I'm going to take this. Imagine it's that knife, and I'm going to go right in here, right under his ear, go through his windpipe and artery, and I'm going to cut out. This hand is not designed to quiet him. This hand is designed to pull him so that I can push him on the blade. Okay? That's what's going to work. That's the way you're really taught how to do it. Okay? And I'm not turning this into Commando 101 class, okay? But I'm just using this as an example to show that these instructors that are teaching their students what to do with a knife really don't know what they're doing. Will you agree with this technique or this one? I did see this work once. Arnold Schwarzenegger Commando, and that's probably where the instructor saw it, okay? So just because it works on the script or Uki is not allowed to respond to me doesn't mean that's going to happen in the real world, okay? Any comments or questions?
You did seem to say that you pull them into it. So what's the timing of the...
I would want this to go in first to start to penetrate. Then I'm going to grab him, and I'm not pulling him to throw him down. I'm pulling him to push him on the blade so I can twist out. Okay? Now you also heard, well, you know, you can go in and stab here. The problem with doing it in the back, you know, you can come across and try to do this. I don't like putting my fingers in near people's mouths. Why? When I was a police officer, I was taught you never stick your fingers in somebody's near his mouth because he's going to do what, Ed? Okay, he's going to bite me, take a finger off. Okay, and I've seen that happen. To do it in the back, you know, the heart is probably right between the shoulder blades. I mean, you got to get. I mean, it's really hard to find this. This is the way I was, right there. It's easy. Okay, and like I said, I'm not turning this into Killer 101 or Commando. I'm just trying to explain to you. This is what you see. Okay, so I want everybody to get up and get a tonto. Actually, let's not use a tonto because we're going in the neck area. And I want everybody just to try this technique. Come up and do this and do it their way and see what happens. Okay, so we just get a partner. Don't hurt one another. Just do it barehanded like you have a knife in your hand. And just try it for like 5 minutes, just so you can see this really doesn't work.